Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here. How are you? Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to another episode of New Music Finds. So this is where I like to collect together all my purchases from the past week and give you a little rundown on them. I get them from different places like Amazon, eBay, and more, and of course my local record stores. I've got just a bunch of different things here because I got both new releases, I got some catalog stuff, I went to a record show, so a lot of cool things that I'll do as a run through here with you. But before we get started, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things help support my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, by subscribing, you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's going on in the world of music, just like this with New Music Finds, a little tongue in cheek there. All right, we like to kick off with new releases, and a big one out, at least in my world, was the new Extreme album called Six studio album. Very much enjoying this one. Despite its more modern style production and modern sounds to it, Nuno Bettencourt off playing with Rihanna, the pop star, definitely has had some influences here, although Extreme has always moved with the times, staying contemporary and so forth, so I don't think it's fully that, but took me a little bit to warm up, drop the preconceived notions, stuff like that on it, but once I did, I really warmed up to the album. All the songs are very good on it, and it is just one that has stuck with me. I did not think I was going to be as into it as I am after hearing the first three singles, but in the end of the day, I have really liked the album. I highly recommend it. I have done a full review for it. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to get more information on that album. Okay, next one up is a group called the Defiance. If you're not familiar with these guys, this is a super group of sorts. The post-Ted Poley era Danger Danger. Ted Poley is the front man for Danger Danger, but when he left, in came a guy named Paul Lane. And when Ted Poley later came back and that version of Danger Danger reformed, the modern era of the band didn't have anywhere to go. So Frontiers Records went to them and said, hey, Paul Lane, Bruno Ravel from the original lineup, and Rob Marcello, the guitar player of the newer era of Danger Danger, we'd like for you guys to still record, but obviously you got to do it under a different name. So that's the Defiance. This is their third studio album called Drive. Really, really good melodic rock mixed with some glam metal sounds. If you like the bands like Nestor, I talked about them recently, and Wildness and stuff like that, that's what these guys sound like, and I highly recommend it. All right, we got something cool in the prog world from Ray Alder from Fate's Warning, frontman, doing a second solo album, which is why it's simply called Two. This has also turned out to be very good. I still like his debut solo album better than this one, but I'm warming up to this. It's not quite as proggy in my opinion as the first one was. That one just right out of the gate kind of blew my mind. If you've never listened to that, I highly recommend it. This one here, very good sounding. I just think it's going to take a little longer for me to digest and get into it. But that's not a bad thing. I don't like albums where you give it one listen, you kind of feel like you know it and you're done. I love those albums that are growers, and I think this one is one of those as well. All right, a couple of you guys asked if I was going to get this because you didn't see it in my New Music Now episode when I was unboxing stuff that had come right from Amazon in the mail. But I did get this one, Phil Lynott's Grand Slam Anthems box set of 6 CDs. It's in a clamshell style box, which is very cool. I was kind of hesitant on this. It's got a good booklet and everything too. And then all of the discs are in individual sleeves and stuff like that. So that's very cool. But this is by Cleopatra Records, and if you've heard me talk about them recently, once upon a time I absolutely loved the label and what they did, but they've been recycling stuff and rehashing it for so many years now, and some of it is just really poor quality. But I was very hesitant to get this, so I actually waited until the album dropped, or the box set dropped on Friday, and I was able to stream it and found that not only does it have very good sound quality on it, that it's actually got some really interesting qualities and stuff. The first disc in here, called Renovations, is actually a 2022 remix of 13 tracks pieced together as to what the album would have been had there been an album by the band Grand Slam released. They never released anything during their day, as an album or anything. Then we've got four live shows from 83 to 84 in here. Varying quality. One of them's a BBC recording. None of them are bad. They're all good. And disc 6 is demos. It's got 15 tracks on it, including some unreleased ones. Over the years, there's been some different single disc editions of demos released under the name Grand Slam. I've got one from back around 2000 that had 10 tracks. The remixes has 13, but the demos has 15. So you're getting some unreleased stuff that was not part of those. And I actually really like the song selection and the remix and how they did it for that first disc, making this, in my opinion, really worthwhile if you are a Phil Lynott or Thin Lizzy fan. All right, I mentioned I got some catalog albums, 2 Yes albums. Ones I already had as Steven Wilson remixes, which are phenomenal. Those only came out in Japan. But I got the Yes album and Fragile. I just wanted to get the remastered editions of these that had the bonus tracks, because the bonus tracks did not appear on the Steven Wilson remixes, those Japanese replica LP versions. And so I wanted to get those. Plus, there is actually a distinct difference between the remasters and those remixes. And so I did want to have the original sounding albums that were remastered to go along with my remixed versions. And so I added those, but not really new to me in the sense that I already owned all of the Yes catalog. Okay, then I went to Second Saturday Record Show. I had a really good time. So much amazing stuff at that. If you didn't already check out the Let's Go to the Record Store video that features that, again, I'll leave a link in the description for that. A couple cool videos, extra videos you can check out, you know, the extreme review and that. So I got 11 records, a CD, a cassette. I'll start with the cassette. Whole Live Through This sampler album. It's still sealed, 4 tracks that are on it, but I just really liked that. Thought it looked cool and decided to go ahead and just add it to the collection. I'll never open it. I just want to keep it on the shelf because it looks good. I picked up ELP, Brain Salad Surgery. This one is a remastered edition that has some bonus tracks and stuff. I had a copy of this, but it didn't come with those bonus tracks and stuff. So while not a new album to me, because I already had an edition of it, I did want to go in and get this remastered edition and get it into the catalog. Plus, it's a jewel case edition, so I always like that. I was a little bummed when I got Fragile and it wasn't in a jewel case, but then this one was. I wasn't expecting that with that, but whatever. Okay, and then I got 11 albums here. We'll kind of blow through this because if you saw the Let's Go to the Record Show, you know I do these at the end. But Headstone UFO, a best of. If you've seen the CD edition of this, it's the entire Live at Hammerstein show. But the original edition of this was a double LP that had 3 sides of best ofs, but best ofs from UFO, Whitesnake, Michael Schenker Group, Lone Star, like all the different side projects of the group or offshoot bands and stuff like that. Where the 4th side had 5 tracks from the Hammerstein show, didn't have the full show. So I wanted to get this now and have that in the collection. I found this, Def Leppard, Live at Abbey Road. This is a 3-song, I guess 12-inch if you will. But I didn't know that they had actually released this on record as a physical edition. I think it was a Record Store Day release, but I'm not entirely sure. I had only seen it as a digital release on iTunes, so I knew it from that. When I was thumbing through the section and I saw it, I was like, fantastic. I'd love to pick that up. I found this after not getting or finding a good copy in the wild before, only seeing it once, the First Prophet album. They've got 3 albums out, but this is the only one that features right there Ted Pulley of Danger Danger playing drums. Not so much as the frontman, although he does do some lead vocal work on here, but I thought I'd pick that up. It is autographed, but can't make heads or tails of what that scribbly scrabble stuff is that's on there. And since I wasn't there for the autograph, it actually doesn't mean a whole lot to me. I have to be the one to get the autograph. Then it's very cool because, of course, it's about the experience. But Randy Meisner's self-titled 3rd album, because his first album was also self-titled. I've been looking for a really good copy of this and finally found it. Randy Meisner from the Eagles and Poco. So great to get that. Andy Fraser, bassist for Free, the English band that started in the 60s. You know, rest of the guys would go on to, or not rest of the guys, but Simon Kirke, Paul Rogers went on to Bad Company. But he did some solo albums. This is 1984, so it's got a decidedly 1980s feel to it. I love that sort of stuff, so I'm excited to have that now and be checking that out. I'm going to dig back in and get some of his stuff from the 70s too. I found this. The Brains. Someone made a comment when I showed this in a different video from a Let's Go to the Record Store, and I didn't know that it has the original version of the song Money Changes Everything that Cyndi Lauper would have a hit with. So I love finding albums like who originally wrote those tracks and they didn't get the hit. Somebody later on got the hit. It's a well-known song but was written by someone else. And that's the case in point that we have here, but we also have Rick Price, guitar player for Georgia Satellites, as part of this. So when I heard that, it wasn't just the fact that it had that song. I'm a big Georgia Satellites fan, and I was sort of like, oh wow, there was a band that he was from before that. Now I really want that. Rubicon, American Dreams. Don't know if this is the first or second, but the band put out 2 albums, and we've got Jack Blades and Brad Gillis. There we go. Those 2 guys from Night Ranger. This is their first project that they were in, first band and so forth. And I'd found the other album a little while back, but had never seen this. I do not believe these have ever been issued to CD. I had a bootleg back in the 90s. It was not really my cup of tea. I'm kind of warming up to it now, you know. It's very R&B, 70s soul kind of rock, not straight up rock like Night Ranger and stuff. But you know, tastes change, and I love that. It's like I almost didn't buy it simply because I wasn't into it when I first heard it, but I wanted to add it to the collection, and I'm glad that I did because now I'm actually kind of enjoying it. The Cherry Bombs. So I wasn't sure if this was just a single release or what this was. Turns out it's their only release. Actually, I think they had one other EP, but this one here, actually Hot Girls in Love, they do a song, and I don't know if that was sort of their, you know, biggest hit or whatever, but that's actually the Loverboy song. I didn't know that until I put it on, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, I recognize this. But I was excited about this because the guitar player Andy McCoy and the other guitar player Nasty, and I think his name was Nasty Suicide, the full name, both of them coming from Hanoi Rocks, so they're both in here. And then we got on drums Terry Chimes of The Clash. So very cool. The vocalist on here simply named Anita. It's a female fronted band. They did 4 tracks on here. Yeah, so I was excited about that. I just had some really good finds at this particular record show. I got some stuff from the Dollar Bin that turned out to be very good. A Greg Kinn album, Next of Kin. It doesn't have any of the hits on it. This one I think was from like 77 or 78. You know, before he had the bigger stuff that like the Breakup Song and Jeopardy from the 80s. Firefall, the Southern rock band from the 70s. This one called Break of Dawn came out in 1982, and I simply bought it because it was from the 80s, and it does have a nice 80s sound to it. Not quite as overt as, say, that Andy Fraser, but it does have that, and so I was glad to get it. And I don't know that this one's ever been issued on CD. I could be wrong, but I'm not able to find it or never seen it, so I do like picking up records when I can only find them as LP and not on CD. Then I got a Les Dudek record, Ghost Town Parade. I have one of his albums, a Wounded Bird Records reissue, and I like that one a lot. I think it's got Cher guesting on it and stuff like that. There were some other cool reasons to pick that up at the time. He's one of those guitar players that's played with a lot of people and stuff, but also had a career as a solo artist, but just not very big or well known. But definitely enjoy his stuff, and so I was glad. That's what I like about dollar bins. You can take a chance on some of these things, and so that's what I'm doing with these here. I'm just taking a chance on them, and if they turn out to be great, then I might spend the time hunting down and spend a little extra money to get some of these on CD if they're available. But for $1, you know, you can certainly take the chance, and I love being able to do that. So there you go. That's my new music finds for the week. Lots and lots of cool stuff. I love it when there's both new releases, like good new releases, and then on top of it having some good sort of used record store style stuff found, and I had that this week. All right, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know what you guys picked up for the week and what you're really enjoying. Maybe it's that new Extreme as well. Otherwise, take care, have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.